Hello, Eastern West Virginia Technical and Community College. This is Art 100 for summer 2023. So we are starting, I guess, tomorrow on the art history course. And every year I just make one of these quick little videos just to kind of give you the ins and outs of the course, where you can navigate to find all the information that you'll need to successfully complete this course. So even if you've taken classes before and you're familiar with Brightspace and you're familiar with online learning, every class is a little bit different. Just give me 5 or 10 minutes of your time just to kind of go over some of these basic operating procedures with you. So let's jump right in. So these are the learning outcomes. By the end of the semester, you will be able to achieve, or you will achieve, all of these learning outcomes for successful completion of the course. So you can read over those at your leisure. They're also online, which we'll get to in just a moment. So attendance is recorded weekly through your participation in the course. This course has pretty standard deadlines of when things are due. Late assignments will not be accepted. Now, basically, you cannot even turn late work in. The 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 online Brightspace will kind of remove it, and you won't even have access to it. Late assignments, if you have a situation that you know is coming up or something of that nature, let me know as soon as possible and we can maybe work something out. It is always better to contact your professors as soon as you can or as soon as you know, rather than at the very end of the semester say, hey, but I had a flat tire or something. Try to be proactive about those things. Okay, moving on. So this is the inside of Brightspace when you first make the landing. So here is this calendar with upcoming events. So here are our first two things. Now, if you look, they're both due on Friday, the 26th is when they're both due. So if you've never been in Brightspace before, we're just going to go through a quick couple little things. If you were to come up here to where it says content, let me draw on this. If you were to come up here where it says content, we're going to go to the next slide. Okay. Over here in content, you're going to see our table of contents right down here. If you go to where it says a syllabus and assignment schedule, this is where all the class is broken down by week, right? So here is everything that you need to do for week 1, which is, you're probably watching this on the 22nd, so today, hopefully, until Friday. So this is a little bit of a short week, kind of here at the very beginning. So you're going to watch an intro video, which you're watching right now. There's a discussion board post, which is getting to know you. There's another video, which is the first lecture video. It's on the basic styles of art. It's a pretty short one. And then there is a quick quiz. Oops. Okay, a quick quiz on that information. So this area where it says syllabus and assignment schedule, this is something that you're going to want to refer back to kind of continuously. And then underneath of that is we're broken down, I keep tapping, broken down into 3 units from there. Okay, so each week work will be due on Friday at 11:59 p.m. That gives you an entire week. But if you look here at week two is a little bit big because we are compressed on a shorter time period than the regular semester, but we're still doing all of the work that the regular semester is doing. We have a couple weeks that are a little bit bigger than normal. Week 2 is one of them. You'll have 2 video lectures, 2 discussions, and then a summer quiz, which is basically a larger test than normal. It's kind of like the 2 weeks combined. So because of that, you will actually have access to that week before that. So what does that mean? That means that this work is due on June 2nd, but you will have access to it a week before. So you'll essentially have 2 weeks to work on it. So basically we can break it down like this. Every week something is going to be due on Friday, but you could potentially work 1 week ahead. You'll only have access to everything for 2 weeks, and then every Friday something is due, except for this little short week at the beginning, right? You only have I guess, 5 days to work on that. But one of them is a discussion where you introduce yourself. You don't need to study for that, right? You can do that right now, as soon as you're done watching this video. The reason that I've kind of set the summer up like this is I know sometimes we have trips, sometimes we're doing stuff. Some of us are probably working, that kind of stuff. So that gives you a little bit of ability to plan and prep ahead. But you're going to want to be able to log in. Just make a note to yourself on your calendar or something, log in every Thursday and say, what is due tomorrow? What do I need to do tonight? But if you know you're going on vacation or something, you should be able to work ahead a week. Okay, moving on. So this is something that's pretty exciting. This course used to have a textbook that cost about $75. And I, along with Eastern West Virginia, worked really hard to make this an OER. So you no longer required to purchase a textbook for this class. All that you need is a computer with reliable internet access. So if you're thinking to yourself, well, how will I learn anything? What you're going to do is you're going to watch little YouTube videos like these, which are basically lectures. They're kind of like taking place of a classroom setting. So you can find them in all of the units. So here we have Unit 1, the basics, and then if you look right here, there is the lecture 1.1, which is on the basic styles of art. That's the one that you're going to need to watch for this week's work, right? You can see it here. They're on YouTube. They're not perfect. But they're free, right? And that's what's kind of more important. I am at least the type of learner that if I'm seeing something and listening and engaging, even if it's passively by watching a video, I'm much more likely to take things away from that than if I'm just searching through the textbook for a definition. If someone's explaining to me what something means, I'm more likely to get it that way. And I think most of us are. So you're going to watch these little video lectures, which are part of this OER, and then you'll take the quiz, which should be directly underneath of it. On that note, if you are looking at the syllabus or assignment schedule and you're thinking and you see like, oh, I have a quiz due or I have a discussion or something of that nature, but I don't see it, it's not popping up, it should be available for me to take, so shoot me an email. I make mistakes just like everyone else. I could have put in here that this was going to be due May 2022, like last year, and suddenly it never shows up for you. So don't hesitate to reach out if you think you should see something, but you don't. I'm super happy to answer questions, and I will make a very strong effort to reply to all emails within 24 hours. I'm pretty good about that, even in the summertime and whatnot. So you guys know where to find the video lectures now, and then the quizzes, right? And that's kind of a slide that just talked about what I just showed you. So each week there is these weekly quizzes with one exception, which we will talk about here in a moment. Each of them is going to be worth 100 points. Now there will be a final exam at the end, which will cover all of Unit 2 and Unit 3 together. Keeps happening. Unit 2 and Unit 3 together will be grouped together into one kind of final exam. But don't let that scare you just now. Okay, so there is an exception to when we take quizzes, which is the end of Unit 1, which is a formal analysis and writing assignment, which we're going to talk about now. So underneath of this Unit 1 content area is this subsection, which is the formal analysis and writing assignment. In there is a wealth of information about this assignment. There is written instructions, there is a video, there is a rubric on how I'm going to grade it. There is the OWL Purdue website, which if you have never written a college paper before, or if you have any sort of angst about does this need MLA or APA style, or how do I cite this source, or should this be in quotations, or should it be, that website got me through college, and everyone I've ever talked to that's used it says it's the best resource for making sure that you are properly writing the information that you need to, especially when it comes to college essays and that kind of stuff. I'm not going to talk too much about it because there's an entire video on it, written instructions, all that kind of stuff. We will be doing that. I don't remember exactly what day that's due, so check the assignment schedule to figure that out. Okay, moving on. As I said earlier, every week there are discussions due. Now up at the top, there's this green bar. This is just like a screenshot. There's this green bar and you can see where the content area is, and right next to it is the discussions area. And this is what you should see when you go into discussions. There's this kind of group chat, I guess we'll call it, where it's contact each other. If you just have a general question and you're like, hey, is nobody else seeing the essay? Like, can we not? I can't submit mine. Whatever the case may be, you're also more than welcome to email me. I'm super happy to answer any questions. But what's underneath of that, that will always be there. What's underneath of that will change all the time. So this is where your weekly discussions will be. Remember, sometimes there will be a second one, so you'll need to scroll down. Each discussion is going to be worth 10 points with one exception, which that will be explained to you when that time comes. And this is kind of the basic rubric for how they are graded. And they're going to correspond with the information from the lectures and also that go along with the quizzes. That makes sense. So let's talk about your first discussion now. So your first discussion is a basic introduction. And I've written some questions down here just to get kind of the ball rolling. So I want to know who you are, what you study or maybe plan to study, when and where you could go in time if you had a time machine, right? And then why you would choose this time and place. And then just for fun, how do you get your caffeine? Do you drink coffee every morning or are you a energy drink person? You can submit a photo if you want so we can kind of put a name and a face together. So I'm going to go first and introduce myself just here in this video. So I am your professor. I'm Lacey Miller. I studied art and art history at both West Virginia University and then Clemson University for my master's degree. When and where would I go in time if I had a time machine? I think I would go back to kind of the beginnings of ancient Rome for the reason that that was kind of the beginning of globalization and a lot of cultures were coming into contact with each other and sort of sharing ideas, sharing belief structures, all these kind of things, a radical moment of change in time. And that is why I would choose that place because I think that's very interesting. I also drink coffee every morning, 2 cups with cream, no sugar in it. I can't do all of that sugar. And then I try to cut myself off because otherwise I'll get a little jittery after that. One more thing about this. So there is a history element to this. Unit 2 and Unit 3 are about the history, art history of the world. We talk about them through different cultures and through different times. So these two questions are not they're not just for fun. Give it a little bit of thought. Don't be that student that's like too cool for school, like I just go surfing, so it doesn't matter where in history I go or when, as long as there was a beach. Don't be that person, right? Give it a little bit of thought. What time in history interests you? Maybe we're going to talk about that. Maybe we're not. Maybe you could think about, maybe you know something about it. So just give it a little bit of thought, give it a little bit of honesty. Okay, there's a couple more things before we finish up. So there is the policy on academic honesty, copyright. Those are both going to be, more information about those is going to be in your syllabus. I reserve the right to change the syllabus at any time. I'll give you written notifications. I'll probably send you an email, an announcement, all that kind of stuff. It happens where something goes awry and we have to switch stuff around. There's this special note here, which I want to take just a moment of your time to talk about. So we're going to be talking about a lot of different cultures, a lot of different places, and different times in history. And sometimes these cultures and places and all of history is going to touch on ideas that might be difficult for some people to hear. We're going to see nudity. We're going to talk about sexuality. We're going to talk about human sacrifice. We're going to talk about groups being dominated by other groups in various ways, colonization, et cetera, et cetera. So the big thing I want to stress about this is you are going to see nudity in these videos. It is, and we're going to talk about sexuality and that kind of stuff. And if that is something that is very difficult for you to see and whatnot, I just want to say there is, kind of let me know, but also this college and this is history. And it's not going to be anything vulgar that should really upset your sentiments, but I just want to make you aware before we begin. Okay, so moving on, there's only two other little things: the Americans with Disabilities Act and then the Title IX. I suppose this is mostly when it comes to this Title IX is mostly when it comes to the discussion portion. So some of the discussions are going to be asking your opinions or your thoughts about things. Discriminatory comments are not going to be acceptable. I think we can all be adults about it, but I also feel like I just need to say that as we start out. Don't say anything that you wouldn't say in a regular classroom. Um, that kind of thing will not be tolerated. Okay, it won't be tolerated by me, it won't be tolerated by your classmates, it won't be tolerated by Eastern. Okay, so last but not least, this is my email. It's important that when you email me, because if you have any questions, I am super happy to answer them. When you're emailing me, use your student approved email and please include your first and last name. You don't know how often I get emails from students at their Yahoo account and it just says, I missed the test, will you open it back up? And then there's no name, there's no nothing like that. So give me your name, give me some information about what the issue is that you're having and how I can help, and try to do it from your Eastern email. That is technically the only way I can respond to you as a professor about anything official to do with your grade or anything like that. So that's pretty important to use that email. Any other questions, let me know. I'm super happy to help. You guys we're going to have a great summer. And kudos to you for taking summer classes and like knocking stuff out ahead of time, that kind of stuff. So give yourselves a little pat on the back. Have a great summer. We're all going to do great.